What if I told you one of the greatest marketers in history wasn't a CEO, an influencer, or an advertising expert, but a man from the Bible? His name was Paul. He didn't just spread a message, he built a movement. Paul started as a fierce opponent of Christianity. Then, after a dramatic transformation, he became its most passionate messenger. He traveled thousands of miles, wrote powerful letters, and inspired countless people. Today, his influence is still felt around the world. But how did he do it? Paul used strategies that are still relevant today. He understood his audience, created a strong brand, and spread his message through word of mouth. He mastered storytelling and used every available platform to reach people. In this video, we'll break down Paul's marketing playbook. We'll explore how his methods compare to modern branding, social media, and business strategies. By the end, you'll see that the lessons from Paul's life aren't just for history. They are for anyone who wants to grow an audience and make an impact. 1. Paul knew his audience. Paul understood that a message is only powerful if it speaks to the right people in the right way. He didn't use the same approach for everyone. Instead, he tailored his words to fit his audience. When he spoke to Jews, he used the scriptures they already knew. He connected Jesus to the prophecies in the Old Testament. But when he spoke to Gentiles, he took a different approach. In Athens, for example, he didn't quote Jewish texts. Instead, he referenced Greek poetry and philosophy. He met people where they were and used ideas they already understood. This is exactly how great businesses market today. A company like Nike doesn't use the same message for everyone. For athletes, they focus on performance and pushing limits. For casual wearers, they emphasize style and comfort. They speak to each group in a way that makes sense to them. Paul knew that one-size-fits-all doesn't work. He studied his audience, understood their needs, and spoke their language. That's how he made his message relevant and powerful. 2. Paul leveraged word-of-mouth marketing. Paul didn't rely on expensive campaigns or grand platforms. Instead, he spread his message through people. He planted small communities of believers in different cities and encouraged them to share the message with others. His letters weren't just for individuals. They were meant to be read aloud and passed around. This created a ripple effect, turning his followers into messengers. One great example of this is his letter to the Thessalonians. He praised them for spreading the word so effectively that others had already heard about their faith before he even arrived. Paul knew that people trust recommendations from those they know. By equipping his followers with the message, he turned them into ambassadors for his cause. This is the same strategy that companies like Tesla use today. Tesla spends almost nothing on traditional advertising. Instead, they rely on loyal customers to spread the word. Happy customers talk about their experience, share it on social media, and convince others to join in. Paul understood that the most powerful marketing comes from people who truly believe in the message. He didn't just gain followers. He built a movement. 3. Paul created a strong and consistent brand. Paul's message never wavered. No matter where he went or who he spoke to, he kept his core message the same. Salvation through Jesus Christ. This consistency helped people recognize his brand and trust in it. Whether he was writing a letter to the Romans or speaking to a crowd in Athens, he never changed the essence of what he believed in. His message was clear, simple, and unwavering. This is similar to how strong brands operate today. Take Apple, for example. Whether you're buying a phone, a laptop, or a pair of headphones, the Apple experience is always the same. Sleek, innovative, and user-friendly. Apple doesn't confuse its customers with changing messages. Their brand is consistent across all products and marketing materials. Paul's ability to maintain this consistency built trust with his followers. They knew exactly what he stood for and what they could expect from him. His brand wasn't just about the message, it was about a lifestyle, a way of thinking, and a community that was united under a clear purpose. In the business world, consistency is key. Brands that stay true to their message and values build stronger, longer-lasting connections with their audience. Just like Paul did. 4. Paul used the power of storytelling. Paul knew that facts alone wouldn't capture people's hearts. To make his message more relatable, he shared his own personal story. He told others about his dramatic conversion from Saul, a persecutor of Christians, to Paul, a devoted follower of Christ. This powerful narrative gave his message credibility and made it more emotional. People could see that he wasn't just preaching theory. He had lived it. In his letters, Paul often shared stories of his struggles and triumphs, showing how his faith had helped him overcome challenges. These personal stories resonated with his audience because they were real and human. Paul used storytelling to build trust and connect with people on a deeper level. This is a strategy modern brands use as well. Think of how companies like Coca-Cola or Dove often share customer stories in their ads. These stories aren't just about selling a product. They're about showing how the product can change lives or make people feel. Just like Paul, brands use storytelling to create an emotional connection with their audience. Paul's story was more than just a personal journey, it became part of his brand. By sharing his experiences, he invited others into his narrative, making his message more compelling and memorable. 5. Paul mastered content distribution. Paul didn't just rely on face-to-face meetings to spread his message. He used every tool available to him to reach as many people as possible. He traveled widely, visiting cities across the Roman Empire to speak directly to communities. But he also wrote letters, which were like the ancient version of blog posts or social media updates. His letters were distributed far and wide, reaching people in different regions and cultures. Paul understood that content had to be shared in multiple ways to reach different groups of people. Some people heard his message in person, others read his letters, and some received his teachings through word of mouth. This multi-channel approach made sure his message traveled far beyond just the cities he visited. This is similar to how businesses distribute content today. Think about how companies use blogs, social media, videos, and emails to reach their audience. A company like Starbucks doesn't just rely on in-store visits. They engage customers through social media posts, email newsletters, and online ads to keep their brand in front of them. Paul knew that to truly spread his message, he had to use every available platform. Whether in person, through writing, or through his followers. He mastered content distribution by reaching people in the ways that made sense for them, and that's a lesson we can all apply in today's world. Paul's marketing strategies weren't just about spreading a religious message. They were about building a lasting movement. He knew his audience and spoke their language. He turned his followers into brand ambassadors through word of mouth. His message was strong and consistent, and he used storytelling to make it unforgettable. Most importantly, he understood the power of reaching people through multiple channels, ensuring his message spread far and wide. The lessons from Paul's life are timeless. Whether you're building a personal brand, growing a business, or spreading an idea, these strategies still work today. If you apply Paul's approach, knowing your audience, being consistent, telling your story, and using every platform available, you can create a brand that stands the test of time. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below. How will you apply Paul's marketing strategies to your own work? Let's discuss.